I actually have no idea if anybody can see this. So if you can, if one or two people can just comment, the chats are enabled on this video. So if there are any questions or anything like that, you can put them in the chat section, and we can get started with this horrible situation that we need to obviously be addressing. If anyone can just enter in the chat message link that they can hear me fine and that the connection is okay, I'd really appreciate that. I don't see anybody commenting.
Answer.
It has been a very interesting couple of days. As you can see, not really looking so fantastic, but I thought it didn't really care what I looked like at this time. Please can you just kill that call? So to get started, the actual proof of who started the company, communications with Stephen, all that kind of stuff, because quite honestly, it's been of the most horrific threats, accusations, enough for people to jump and some sort of threat. How to stay strategically and rationally and ask yourself, is it going to help burning innocent people at the stake when there is so much evidence to nothing? So before even going through any of this, I want to tell you guys what happened with Stephen the last 3 days, because I know that that's what people want to know about. The first thing is every single Sunday night, and we obviously wanted to preserve the system, so we said to him, hey, we'll do it. So give us the info, we'll make sure that it gets run properly, and we'll keep you up to date with the numbers, and we'll let you know exactly what you need to pay on a Monday. And on top of that, this would also obviously help, because now each investor would be able, or member would be able to see their own information. So it seemed like a real normal, simple thing to do at the time. So Stephen would get a file, and it would have your name, your MN number, your wallet address, which obviously you've put onto your back office if you're part of the actual component system. And he would get the amount of Bitcoins that he has to pay out to you that would then be locked in at the Bitcoin rate in the mornings on Monday at like 5 to 8 in the morning. Because the price is so volatile, we'd have to lock in the price at 5 to 8, and he'd have to make the payment before the price changes so much, so that everybody would get the dollar value amount or even close to it based on the Bitcoin value, obviously, in their back offices. So that's what would happen every day. And this Sunday, the same thing happened. We sent him the numbers. In fact, I can tell you what the numbers are. Let me just get it for you. Okay. So on Sunday, he was sent the numbers like he's sent every single night, and there are proof of these messages, obviously, to him. Every single Sunday, he okays the payment. The payment's made a couple minutes later, and obviously then everybody's happy. But it's been rather interesting. So let me tell you. Sorry, I'm just working through all the conversations that was had with him today, which I will share with everybody as well. All right, on Sunday night at 7 minutes past 7, the message, as we do every single Sunday night, was saying, "Good day, Stephen. Figures for tomorrow. The capital withdrawal was only $488,000 US. 488,000 US. And that's very little. So that's not a huge withdrawal. So the rumors that there were too many people withdrawing and that's why Stephen couldn't pay are not true, because obviously we know exactly who's withdrawn because we've handled that information in that data. And I can very, very comfortably tell you that there were not too many withdrawals, because when you're withdrawing $488,000 of a fund that big, it's such a minute portion. And then his weekly payouts were $6,200,000 US, which again, in the greater scheme thing, seems like a lot of money. But if you look at how much money had been coming into the system and the reports that he has been giving in terms of how much money he's making with trades, it seemed perfectly fine. The total Bitcoin value for 6.7 million on Sunday night was around 811 Bitcoin on Sunday night. On Monday morning, the rate was locked in at 7:52, so that's 8 minutes to 8, like we do every single week. Rate is locked in, total 101, but the deposit term with the remittance of who needs to be paid what at 36 minutes past 8, because now we're about half an hour later than what we normally are. I asked him if everything is okay, and we didn't hear from him again until 12 at night. We didn't know what was actually it would day. I will say that I didn't have a bad feeling about it. I thought that there was a good explanation for why Stephen didn't cut it off, is that there has been so much dialogue. And yes, it's been dialogue on Messenger, email. But if it's dialogue every single day so consistently for such an extended period of time, you do become comfortable with a person. And I say to people that for me, I find it almost impossible for Stephen to have been able to keep up, if it's a lie, keep up a lie with across so many different platforms for such a long time without slipping up once. So that for me was sort of one of the things that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. But that was the situation that ensued on Monday. We heard about all of his attack situation on Monday night. Monday night at about quarter to 12 at night. And obviously our first reaction was, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And immediately he started messaging individual leaders individually, not just on the leaders group, but saying that he had been attacked in his home and that his trading equipment has been damaged and he's really worried. And I mean, your first initial response after you've dealt with somebody for so long is to go, "Oh my goodness, I hope you're right." And I'll be completely honest, and I have been saying this to people, that I did feel uneasy. I felt uneasy when he said that. And again, I am not 100% sure of what his situation is. There could be truth to the fact that he was attacked. I can tell you that Stephen has professed a million times that he's single, and he definitely didn't have any children. I do believe that that post was created by a fake profile. So many of those going around these days, and we'll chat about those in a second as well. And I turned to Clinton and I said to him, this doesn't sound right. How are we going to tell people this? I don't know what to do. I asked him to do the actual update himself, and he said he's really tired. Would I mind doing it? So I said to him, okay, well, then what do you want me to say? He told me what to say, and I did the update. And again, this conversation thread is all there. What I'll maybe do is screenshot it and send it out and post it onto maybe even the site, so everyone can have a look at that later on. But we posted that out, and obviously most people met that with complete relief, but there were a lot of people that just went, oh, what bullshit, that's not possible, that hasn't really happened. This morning early at about 6 o'clock, I was obviously woken up, but the first thing I did is I messaged him and I said to him, right, we need to organize the payments. And I'm going to tell you guys what I think has happened, and I've spoken to a couple of the leaders, and I have it on good authority that some of them feel the same. I personally think what happened is the Bitcoin drop and the market crash over the weekend. I mean, it's so wildly advertised these days. I think it affected Stephen, and I don't think he knew how to tell us. What concerns me, though, is that we had come up with so many alternatives to tell him what he could do to fix the situation. We offered to him that he pay half the returns of yesterday. We offered that he pay the capital amount for people that is outstanding. So you'll see that's why there was a change in your back office today, because we had to have asked our admin processes to take away or remove the payment from Monday from your back office, the information and the data thereof, because none of you received that money. I didn't receive that money. So we can't say in the back office that it's been paid, because it hasn't been paid. And yes, we load that data on the Sunday night, because normally Stephen makes payment on the Monday morning. So this week he didn't make that payment. So we couldn't factor that payment into the final figures that are due for capital payouts, because they hadn't been paid. So those payments were all reversed. And then we did the numbers and said to Stephen, okay, well, this is what you need to pay in order to pay everybody the money that they would have lost had this thing ended today. So in other words, if you invested $1,000 and you've been paid $200, then Stephen still owes you $800. If you invested $1,000 but you made $1,200, then you're in profit and then you wouldn't get paid. And that's, I was saying, at least do that. At least do that. Give people their money back so people are not losing. And the amount that we came up with, can you give me that amount? The amount that we came up with for this people had a part of their capital okay with the camera off. You know that it's me. You can see me, same person. That's just obviously a much more flattering picture of me. I'm going to turn my camera off just to give us a better connection. And in fact, it looks like we're still good. So, okay, wait, let's carry on like this. So I believe that you guys lost me at the amount. The amount that US dollars. And again, seems like a lot of money, but if you look at the amount of money that's been coming into his wallet and into his fund, he should easily be able to do that. So we made all the people who last year they have been missing for some kind of solution, some kind of message. I mean, even if it's to name his to anything I can do about it. I'm being told that there's no sound, so let me take the video off. Somebody wants to send Clinton a message and just let him know if you can hear me. That'll be great. So we've been hoping for some kind of communication, and that is something that we just have. Frustrating. We're having the most ridiculous storm where I stay in Rudaput. Address as well. The storm here has just been absolutely terrible, so we're struggling with the connection. I'll keep on coming back and keep on connecting. So if you guys want to stick around, I'll stick around. So let's see what we can do. So that's the situation in a nutshell. We've been providing Stephen with the remittance and the information of who he needs to pay every single Sunday. Sunday night, we let him know the amount. Monday mornings, we lock in the rate. He gets told how much he needs to pay. He makes the payment and everybody's okay. The thing is, this Sunday, he just didn't do that. And he didn't come online until 11:45, you know, way past 11 on Monday night. And this after the biggest amount of crap has hit the fan, and everybody's been throwing accusations around, and it's just been the most ridiculous time. When he did come back online, he said that he was attacked. I personally don't know how I feel about that. I guess I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice but to believe what Stephen is saying is right now. But like I said, I think that he had a trading problem, and I think that the market's crashing and him having to deal with very low Bitcoin costs, I think that's what affected all of this. So I wish that he would just, this is what's happened. And I know that this team would stand behind He hasn't done that. And that's, I think, one of the things that has just made this so very difficult to cope with. At the moment, we as a leadership team have given him so many options and so many ways to get out of this, and he hasn't taken us up on any of those. I think that he will. Well, there's hope. A lot of people are saying to me, well, why are you not standing together and laying charges? Because there are people that, that's why. I'm worried that joined this week, and those people haven't been paid. The people that joined last week may have only been paid once. And I feel like if I push him too hard, or if I give him an ultimatum, or if I completely distance myself, that he'll literally take. And I feel the need to do that. So my first intention and the leadership's intention at every point was Stephen pays out some kind of money, either yesterday or today. And I'm still pushing for that. I have been messaging him all day. I have a feeling that he might do that. So I'm going to keep pushing him today and tonight and see what I can get in terms of a payment from him. And I know that I can speak for Madeleine and for Clinton as well, because those are the other two leaders that are in touch with Stephen on the leadership group. And they too have been pushing him. I know Clinton's been talking to him personally all day. So for me, that's why I haven't openly defamed Stephen. That's why I openly haven't been fighting with him, because there are people that need to be paid. And if he runs away and he just goes away, there's no way that we can recover those people's money. So for me, the first port of call was to get the money back. I will keep on updating people as to when I get to hear from Stephen. If he lets us know that he's going to do a payment, we will jump on it like tomorrow all day, send him the info that he needs, and make sure that those people get paid. And if he doesn't pay and he does run away with our money, I'll be one of the first people to open up every single record I have to deal with it decisively. I've never been one to shy away from confrontation or doing what is right. And those of you that know me will know that about me. So I'm 100% happy to do what needs to be done to either get people their money and make sure that the system either carries on or shuts down after everybody's received their money and hasn't lost anything. Or if this loss carries on, to do everything I can to find Stephen and deal with it from there. So I wanted to carry on to the next phase, and there's a lot of miscommunication out there about how BTC Global started, and I wanted to clear that up now once and for all. I did not start BTC Global. Clinton Marks did not start BTC Global, nor did Madeleine Roos, Byron Ditburner, or Andrew Cole. Yes, these are people that have been with BTC Global, and have they played an integral role in making sure that lots of people have been paid for a long time? Absolutely they have. But have they ever handled your money? Or are they Stephen Twain? Absolutely not. I find it absolutely ridiculous how one woman's allegations from a whole bunch of fake profiles, a whole group of people upset. And to make matters worse, Stephen doesn't pay around the same time. They're an absolute nightmare. Please ask yourselves, if these allegations are true, why have there been absolutely any of this? That's all it's been. It's been allegations. So what I wanted to do is show you some proof tonight that it is physically impossible for any of us to have started BTC Global. Did we help Stephen with admin? Are we helping Stephen with admin? Absolutely we are. It's the reason why many of you have made money in the system. It's the reason why we've made money in the system, because we were willing to help Stephen with admin. So if I needed to go back, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I'm not going to hide anything. I'm going to openly show you how it started and how it worked. So I've actually already opened up most of these things for you so that you can have a look. So, oh no, where is the admin person when I need him? I wanted to show you very, very quickly. When you go onto your back office, you'll find that there's that black button that you make the payment to. That black button directs you to Stephen's CoinGate account. Now, CoinGate accounts are completely transparent, and you can who owns that account. Stephen, not one administrator, double check the timestamp on that. But every single time somebody makes a payment into that account, the Bitcoin goes straight to Stephen. He controls that. Via and work for free, they're not being paid by an now the back office forward to the admin, and then you'll see, like here it says CoinGate support, payment of 105 US dollars was received to reference. Then the administration but does them this, put it in onto the ad, and this is what hours your payment to every give like 3-4 times, saying not you'll be in the coin, but we're also to get the confirm in the CoinGate account, and then only can we update it. So as you can see, this is all information. No monies actually comes into the admin team. This is totally, it gets an ID. This ID has transaction details, which is 100% public. You can track your payment 100%. It's totally public. People have this notion that Bitcoin is this dark hole and nobody can be found. That's not true. Every single transaction has a history. And all these people that say we own BTC Global, not one of them have come with any concrete proof that we are taking any money. It's all these allegations, and because everybody's upset, justifiably so, because they haven't been paid, we're being thrown under the bus, and it's just not okay. So this is how we obviously do the payments, but it wasn't always like this. So let me take you back to last year. Last year, February, my friend Madeleine, and in fact, at the time, we weren't even talking to each other, she was approached by Stephen, and she has facts and photo prints and screenshots. Screenshots is the word I'm looking for. Screenshots of her conversation with Stephen. And it's very interesting because he actually approached her because she was trading with IML Markets Live, right? And she said to him, no, it's actually not going that well. And he asked her if she'd be interested in him trading for her. And Stephen and Madeleine actually he traded her money alone for close to 2 to 3 months. So February, March, April, the only person trading with Stephen was Madeleine. No referral system, no bullshit, nothing. She paid her Bitcoin into his wallet, directly into his wallet. He traded for her and he paid her returns every Monday. She actually told my fiance Clinton about this and said to him, hey, you know what? I know that you're looking for something, so why don't you get Stephen to trade for you as well? Clinton didn't get involved in February. But he did tell a friend of his, Russell, Russell's a great guy. He's part of the leadership team. Russell then went and actually spoke to Stephen. He was messaged Stephen and he said, hey, is this true? Have you been doing this? And Madeleine took the chance, but because she had the track record, there was something to go by. So Russell invested with Stephen, and he had great results with Stephen. A couple of other people got involved. And at this point, Clinton and I were still not involved with BTC Global. None of us got involved. So it was quite interesting because everybody seems to think that we were the first people involved. We weren't. In fact, there were 150 people in this organization before Clinton and I got involved. So, and I'll show you the proof of that now. So at that time, Stephen was keeping track of, let me just see, Stephen was keeping track of every single payment that he was making. So he had a little Excel spreadsheet. He was running it with himself and just doing his own admin. So he had Madeleine's details there and the investment that she did, and he'd know exactly how much to pay her every Monday. And he would do that for every single person he had. Eventually, he had close to 50, 60 people that he was doing this for, and the administration was shocking. In fact, I was told that he was making mistakes and he wasn't paying people the right amounts. He was paying short. And Russell actually said to him, hey, you know what, why don't I put together a nice Excel spreadsheet for you? and I'll help you to update it, and I'll make sure that it gets done fine, and then you can focus on the trading. And Russell did an exceptional job of helping Stephen with the admin in the interim stages, in the beginning stages. And he really did a fantastic job. So by the time Clinton joined, because he saw what was happening with Russell, Clinton's a network marketer. People that know him will know that he'd sell me if the price was right. And at the end of the day, Clinton said to Stephen, if I refer people to you, how much are you going to pay me? And that's where the relationship started of bringing in any kind of referral system into BTC Global. So Clinton then counseled Stephen and said to him, listen, tell me how much you can pay out in a compensation plan, and we'll then work a compensation plan to suit what you can afford. Stephen said that he's willing to do 5 to 6%, I think it was, and Clinton then built a compensation plan around what Stephen said he could afford. And that's how the entire BTC Global compensation plan came about. This sheet that you're looking at here was the sheet that when I started getting involved with the company, or with Stephen and the team, I said, guys, you can't be working so dear mekaar. This Excel spreadsheet that they were working with was very, very onsamehangend, if you can say it in Afrikaans. And I couldn't find any of the info that I needed for my team. So essentially what we did is we put together this spreadsheet here based on what Russell had. And this is the main spreadsheet that we had before the component had come in. And literally what we would do is we would get these CoinGate emails. No, it wasn't CoinGate at the time. We'd actually get personal emails from Stephen confirming each payment, because all the first payments were made into Stephen's personal Bitcoin account. And here I've got proof of that. So you'll see that this was Stephen's first Bitcoin account, and this is recorded. So this is not going to go anywhere. You can go and have a look at this again. There's lots of communications with this address out there. Stephen himself had sent this address out to hundreds of people before I was even anywhere near BTC Global, or any of the leaders were anywhere near BTC Global. So you can see that there are 2,243 transactions on this Bitcoin account. The total amount received is there, and you can see the final balance is 0.15 Bitcoins, which means this account is pretty much empty. But again, if you go down here and if you paid into Stephen's account, like Madeleine has her proof of payment of her first investment with Stephen, and that was into this account. Russell, Clinton, myself, we all paid into this account run by Stephen. He's lots of times given this account to lots of people all across the world in different conversations that we had nothing to do with and that we weren't even involved with to start. So he would then tell us, yes, this is the information the amounts that he's received. We'd verify it on the blockchain, and then we would go and add it to this list. So Stephen didn't need to keep track of this anymore. He only had to carry the money, make sure that the money was safe and that he was trading properly and paying people. That was it. Every single Sunday, we would give him, he always had access to the sheet. In fact, a couple of the leaders had access to the sheet. Willie Breed had access to the sheet. And there was a lot of people, a lot of leaders could actually come on here and help us to manage the administration. And there was nothing sinister. It was just everybody helping Stephen to get the admin rights so that his payments were correct, so that he could focus on trading. So at the end of the day, this sheet would be sent to him, and you can see that this was how the sheet had grown towards the end. Now you can imagine Stephen doing all these payments individually. It was a nightmare. So we had to get a remittance payment process in place in order for him to be able to do these payments successfully and accurately. So these people, there was never any formal system, there was no back office, nothing like that, right? All these people were a part of Stephen's system, and most of them had personal contact with him on either Telegram, Messenger, we had a Telegram group at the time, or email. And all these people were paid. And this stems back from as far as May and June last year. So I know that there are people saying, oh, that BTC Global launched in September. That's bullcrap. Madeleine can show you her first investment in February. She can show you payments. I can show you mine. There's lots of people. In fact, there are over 1,000 people that joined before September 2017. Then what happened is this became very difficult to manage. And obviously there were lots of people working on the sheet. So we needed to find another way to manage this digitally that didn't take up so much time. I mean, I didn't want to sit in front of a computer all day. And also human error here was a nightmare. I'll give you an example. One of our administrators went and took the CoinGate email. I just want to show it to you again. Took the CoinGate email and used the reference as the amount instead of the actual dollar amount. So this person's profile, if you can call it as such, on this Excel spreadsheet was loaded with $341,000 as opposed to $145,000. We could pick up on the mistake because obviously it was a very obvious mistake, but we knew that we needed to make some difference to this system because it just wasn't working. So what I did is I spoke to my best friend in the whole world. His name is Andrew Cole. And I'm absolutely sick to my stomach when I see the accusations that have been flying around about Andrew. I mean, this guy he's amazing. He's really good at building systems. He's never in his life been involved in anything that is illegal or questionable or anything like that. In fact, I mean, this is the kind of guy that won't even let me do a cake smash for his daughter because he says he doesn't want to teach her to waste food. This is the personality type we're talking. And people are saying that he's scammed thousands of people out of millions of Bitcoin. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. And it makes me so angry when I see that. And I feel guilty because I asked him to help. So I showed him this sheet and I said to him, you need to help me. Like, how can I put this? Can we not do a Gmail form and people can fill it in and it populates the sheet automatically? So we did that. On our website, we had a little form that you would fill in. And there's lots of leaders that can attest to that. In fact, there's 1,000 people here that can attest to this process, thousands of people. I think a lot of them have been quiet. And the reason for that is because there's been so much hatred out there. Nobody wants their family put in danger. Nobody wants to have to hire guards to come and sleep on their couch because, they're worried about their safety because people are sending them ridiculous messages with no proof of any of the accusations. So I don't blame any of these people for not coming forward. But there are over 1,000 people that knew about this system and 150 to 200 people that was in the system before I was even there. So all of this information was then collated and put together, and we then migrated it to the actual BTC Global portal, which we have now. We got a very good programmer in to build that portal for us, and we told them exactly what we needed. A couple of the leaders were involved in that. In fact, lots of leaders that are not implicated in this whole, the 5 people that own BTC Global nonsense were involved in building the portal because there were 1,000 people in this organization before the portal was built. So it wasn't built in isolation. It wasn't built by myself, Madeleine, Clinton, and Andrew, and Byron. It was built by an independent company. And yes, Byron was one of the people that had helped us and communicated with us to build the perfect portal. The Oak knows what he's doing. And again, I'm not a big Byron fan. In fact, Byron and I have butted heads a million times. But if there's something I can say for Byron is he's not untrustworthy. He's been absolutely fantastic in helping us when we've needed help. And Byron is an honest guy. And until anybody can prove otherwise to me, that's what I'm going to believe. So we got this portal up and running. And a lot of you that are on here tonight will remember when we moved over from the main Excel spreadsheet to the actual portal. It was quite a nervous situation because now everybody needed to learn how to log in. And of course, when you have a portal, that brings all sorts of new drama to the table because now people need to learn how to log in. They need to learn how to load their investments, how to make payments. And it was quite a drama. And let me just say that through all of this, we were not paid to do this. This was a natural progression of things. If we didn't do this, I mean, if we carried on running an Excel spreadsheet, this wouldn't have lasted because the actual information is what kept things running. But what kept things above board and what kept things growing was the fact that Stephen was making the payments. I mean, this information is absolutely worthless if it's not being set over into payments to the members. And all of these members will tell you that in the last year that Stephen has been trading for this team, he hasn't missed one payment. So when he did miss the payment on Monday, I was immediately saying this is not like him. There must be a logical explanation, because I'd been conditioned for a year to even think that. And a lot of the leaders felt the same way. So for me, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood this and understood how we got to the actual login page and how we got to building all of this so that it would be easier to run and manage so that Stephen can focus on the trading. That was always the idea. So I've shown you his original Bitcoin address. You can go and speak to anybody and just follow the trail. Ask your upline to ask their upline to ask their upline to ask their upline to get in touch with one of the people that were one of the first people that joined with BTC Global, and ask them to show you where they got the address to pay Stephen from, and ask them to also confirm who gave them confirmation that their deposit had been received. And these people would gladly give you the info, because I know a lot of people would be willing to go, hey, this is what I paid Stephen and this is what I got back. I mean, everybody's been very open about this. So there are a whole bunch of Bitcoin addresses floating around. Oh, this address has got so much money in it, and this address has got so much money in it. But none of those addresses belong to Stephen. I can tell you unequivocally that this was Stephen's account that he was using before the component was put into place. As soon as we put the component into place, because this main sheet was just becoming too difficult to handle, Stephen had to open a CoinGate account. Now, the CoinGate account is not run by anybody from admin. It's an account made and started up by Stephen. He runs the account, and we only provide the link to the payment page of that account on the back office. So yes, we control the back office. Yes, we control the administration. We always have, but we have no control over the Bitcoin or the money. So when you click on that black button, it links you to Stephen's payment page. Your Bitcoin goes directly to Stephen. It doesn't come to the admin team. It doesn't come to Madeleine. It doesn't come to myself or Clinton or anyone like that. And if you go to CoinGate, you'll see the account is registered in Stephen's name. He had to give quite a bit of documentation in order to get that account up and running. And he's done that. So the CoinGate account was there. I think it's a merchant account, if I'm not mistaken. People make their payments in there. It's showing currently 108 transactions. Those are the final and latest ones. You'll see that the account has 567 Bitcoin in it currently. Now, every time Stephen withdraws from this account, from the CoinGate account, and he does withdraw from it often, and I think the reason why he does that is because CoinGate is an exchange, and exchanges aren't safe. So I believe that Stephen was drawing, and I could be wrong, but this is what I think. I think he was withdrawing from the CoinGate account, and he was withdrawing daily, in fact, almost hourly, getting the money out of CoinGate, putting it into a blockchain account, and then trading with it like he was saying to us he was. Okay, so for me, at the moment, there's 560 Bitcoin in that wallet. The other amounts we can't seem to find. There seems to be a couple of transactions and payments that were made from this account as well. I have asked somebody to help me to actually track every single transaction and to get us down to literally trying to track the money as deep and as far as we can. And let me just put this out there, is that everybody here can do that. These Bitcoin transactions are 100% transparent. You can track your Bitcoin down to the very last user. This isn't something that is just vanishes into thin air. I mean, somebody has to at some point put it onto exchange and then sell the Bitcoin. So I still say, if anybody can find Bitcoin that they paid and it was sold or used by any one of our leaders, then please go ahead and post that proof somewhere. But I know that it's not going to happen, because I know for a fact all the money went to Stephen. So where we are currently is Stephen is meant to pay out a whole bunch of Bitcoin for yesterday. And this is what we know he has right now. So my answer to him and my request to him was, use that Bitcoin and pay people out and be honest with them. And he hasn't answered us. Now, there's nothing I can do if Stephen doesn't pay this money out. You can see it's still there. He hasn't touched it. He hasn't moved it. In fact, there's 12 Bitcoin in the actual CoinGate account. So I think Stephen makes his evening. Should we have challenged him on that? Well, there was no reason to, because so many payments done, and everybody was just pulling their strengths together and making this work, and it really was that all of us were thinking, oh, goodness me, what is this guy going to be doing? So at the end of the day, these are the accounts. This is what's been important with this company. I've shown you how we used to give Stephen the numbers from the back office system. We actually export a file, so it's a lot easier than what the main list situation was. It's a lot quicker, and we have gone and obviously simplified the situation, the system, so that Stephen could trade easier. So the way I see it is, I don't know what else to tell people. I can show you conversations between us and Stephen, which I think what I'll do is I'll do a full screenshot of all my conversations with Stephen, and I'll ask the leaders to do that as well. Would you be willing to do that? Okay, Clinton's sitting with me. He's saying he'll be willing to do that as well. I'm sure Madeleine would be willing to do that. Anybody else that has any screenshots with conversations that they've had with Stephen, please feel free to post them onto the Telegram groups, onto your WhatsApp groups, and we might even create like a little folder where we can put this information into and create a link for it on the back office. That might help. There's a lot of people that are coming to me and saying, oh, the amounts on the back office have been changed. The reason why those amounts were reversed is because they weren't actually paid. But that doesn't mean that anything's happening on the money side. You've got to make the clear distinction between the system being handled and the administration and the information being handled, and that being handled in such a way so that the information can be given to Stephen so that he can make the payment. But at the end of the day, I know there's a behind the MLM article that's saying that we started it. You know what? I can say that Vivian Budge started BTC Global. I can say that Vivian Budge is Stephen. But just because I'm saying that doesn't make it true. And everybody seems to be losing their minds and jumping onto this bandwagon of saying that the administration, the people who have served them for the last couple of months, are the people that need to pay them back, when in fact we never handled any money. There's also the issue of risk. I know a lot of people have come up and said, oh, you haven't discussed the risk with me. So I quickly wanted to show you what we did do to discuss the risk with everybody. This was the BTC presentation that I put together. So no, I've never hidden that I've put this presentation together. There are lots of videos of me doing this presentation. I suggest that you go and have a look at it. Take the presentation, search for it, you'll find it. It's on YouTube, it's pretty much everywhere. I wanted to quickly show you what we had taught people when we did this presentation. We spoke about trading, forex, commodities, binary options. We spoke about the size of the trading industry, and we spoke about if 14% is possible. Of course it's possible. In the trading industry, with these kind of returns, it was very simple, and I could grasp 14% because I myself had been trading. Here I had posted some of my trades. These can't be altered or changed, and I said to people, look, I really suck at trading, but if I can do this, then what do you think a professional trader can do? And that was always what I said to people. I understand the 14% because I knew that this was what I was able to create. We talk about the traders, Stephen Twain. We talk about experience, honesty, consistency, and risk. And I have always been very clear and very open and very honest that our risk in this entire opportunity lies with Stephen. I often liken it to my ex-husband, saying that I also thought that we were going to be married forever. And not even that worked out. Anything is a risk in life. I often say to people, Stephen could find a girlfriend and he could stop trading and run away with our money, and then there's nothing we can do about it. I have told people that millions of times. There are so many recordings of me saying that. But nobody will ever show you those because it's far more entertaining to take a lamb to the slaughter and take her children and her family with you. We've spoken about Stephen's track record, which was undeniable. The fact that people had been paid was never a farce and never a lie. Vivian Budge and some of the haters out there will tell you that, oh, none of this money was paid. Some of you are listening to this tonight and you know you were paid. There are some of you that have been paid for 40, 50, 30 weeks on end. And the track record was something that made all of us feel comfortable, maybe too comfortable. We speak about the testimonials. There was a website, in fact, a Facebook page that was talking about all Stephen's testimonials. I went and checked those testimonials. Russell phoned people overseas that confirmed that Stephen had been paying them for so long. I mean, the track record and the testimonials was something that made me feel more comfortable. Did I feel comfortable with Stephen right from the beginning? No, I didn't. That's why I didn't invest everything. I don't understand how people will invest ridiculous and fund ridiculous amount of money and use their pension funds and all that kind of stuff into an investment where you don't know anything about the trader. The only reason I invested more was because I became more comfortable as he paid us every single week. And looking back now, that's probably the mistake I made in my personal risk situation. I asked Stephen about the future so many times because for me, it was something that I was nervous of. And he was very consistent in this answer and very consistent in what he wanted to achieve. And it's this part of the slide that makes me think, why is this guy still even talking to us? Why did he even come back and say he was attacked? Why didn't he just run away? Why is he open to negotiation? Why is he willing to communicate with people? I don't know. Part of me wants to think it's because he's got a better plan, and the other part of me thinks that it's just part of a scheme, but I can't tell because I'm not in control of that process. You need to charge my phone, please. I want to talk about Bitcoin trading because this slide has come up so many times. And people think that this is the reason. No, it's an SA button. People think that this is the reason that, Andrew is one of the people that started this company. I got Andrew involved with BTC Global because I needed him to help me to streamline the process, number one, to make it easier for Stephen. The second thing was that Andrew really knows about Bitcoin. He is one of the most incredible Bitcoin specialists this country has ever seen. That guy trades more Bitcoin than anybody else. He's the one that's been helping me to find the information and track payments and stuff like that. And even though he's no longer even invested, he's definitely been a help. But this slide was never intended to tie him to BTC Global. This slide was intended to say to people, you need to invest in Bitcoin with Stephen, and I know a lot of you don't know how to do that, so get a Bitcoin expert to help you so that you know what to do. I referred Andrew because I trusted him, and I trusted him to help the team with their Bitcoin payments and with their Bitcoin buying. And I dare anybody, anyone up there, to come up with one place where Andrew didn't service you correctly, or where he didn't give you the greatest price on Bitcoin, or where he didn't give you the best advice, or where he scammed you out of anything. There's no one that can do that because Andrew's never done that. His track record in the Bitcoin industry has been absolutely flawless. He's been upright, he's been upstanding, and yet this guy's being treated like dirt by some people in this team when all he's done was help people to buy and load Bitcoin onto their blockchain wallets. I mean, I find it despicable, and I actually just want to apologize to him because I probably never should have gotten him involved in helping me with this. And I'm sorry for the horrible, horrible things that have been said about him that are completely... Is it true that Andrew retired at 32? Absolutely it is. And let me just say that he retired before he got involved with BTC Global and helping with the system. I mean, we were all actually very successful network marketers before we found BTC Global. Go and Google my name, Google Clinton's name, Google us. You'll find out that Clinton was the top earner for 2 previous companies that he was with. I was the top female earner in 2 previous companies I was with. The reason why I actually have a house over my head right now is because I've worked my ass off for 5 years. And there's proof of all of that, but none of you have really bothered to go and look for that because you're staring yourselves blind into the accusations of this 59-year-old crazy woman in Douglasdale. It's been absolutely ridiculous to watch this unfold. We then explain how the money runs through BTC Global. And you'll see here that we talk about you've got Rand, you buy the Bitcoin, then you take the Bitcoin, you send it to Stephen. Stephen does the trading. He pays you back the dollar amount, but he pays you in Bitcoin. And then we teach people that there are 4 things that you can do with your Bitcoin once you have gotten it out. We talk about the fact that the only place where you will find risk is on this side of the equation where Stephen has got your cash. That's where your risk lies. Everything else is in your hands. As soon as the Bitcoin's in your wallet, you're 100% in control. So we talk about the components and we talk about teaching people how to manage their own portfolios so we as admin didn't have to do it, creating cases, teaching them what to do. We talk about the referral program. The reason why it was implemented was to help Stephen grow his fund. And did it help? Absolutely. That was the whole idea. The whole idea was to get Stephen to change as many lives as he possibly could. You could choose to participate in the referral program or not. A lot of people call this a Ponzi scheme, and quite frankly, from a legal perspective, it's not, because you could still get your weekly returns even if you referred absolutely no one. They were completely independent from one another. So the referral program was only for those people that wanted to build a business, that wanted to build a referral system that could create an income for them while they are helping people to earn returns every single week. We talk about Clinton. We explain to people right from the beginning that Clinton was instrumental in building the compensation plan. We talk about it being a simple system. We talk about how much was paid out. So you can see in November, $1.7 million were paid out to the people that had built this organization. And now I know what a lot of people are going to say. Oh, the leaders make so much money. You know what? The people that were introduced in November also made a lot of money. They also made their 14%. Is there anybody that was introduced in November by a leader that earned a referral fee from it that decides that, oh no, that's the worst thing that ever happened to me? I don't see why the referral program has anything to do with the payout system, because it actually hasn't hindered the payout in any way or form. At the end of December, Stephen actually came to a lot of the members, the leaders, and he said that he never anticipated the referral program to pay out so much. So the leaders all agreed to take a full commission cut. Literally, they did not earn 20% of what they had worked for based on the original compensation plan, to lighten the load on Stephen and to help the team to carry on with the program. But again, these things won't be heard because they don't serve this witch hunt that so many people has been on. So Stephen did pay out commissions in December, but only half of the reduced amount, and the other half was reinvested. So it was a situation where we had to change the system to make sure that everything was going to work in the process and going on forward. And it's important to note that Stephen didn't just take money and run in December. He actually came to the leadership and said, hey guys, this is too much money to pay out. I don't think I can afford that. Please, can we just draw it back a little bit? And the leadership was quite willing to oblige. So we thought that this time round, especially with what happened on Monday, that Stephen would have the same approach. And yes, he's heard us out during the day, but he hasn't actually come back with a concrete decision on what he's going to be doing with that 500 Bitcoin and how he's going to be helping the team going on forward. So this was the compensation plan as it was before. You could refer somebody and then earn a part of what they had invested. It was a monthly payment, and if you referred more people, then you can earn more money. It was a compensation plan that was driven by huge numbers. So you had to do a lot to make money. It wasn't an easy comp plan to earn from, and it was done specifically that way so that it wasn't an MLM. We didn't want a traditional MLM. It was about enticing people to help other people, and the more people you helped, the more you were helped. That's exactly what it was. There was never any sinister intention. It really was to spread the word so that Stephen could trade for people like he was trading for all of us. So some stats. This was at, I don't know when these dates were done. I haven't done this presentation in so long. But at this point, I'm thinking this was at the beginning of December. There was a $34 million in the investment amount with Stephen. We were about 10,000 investors. It started here. You can see in February 2017, the component was launched at the end of October 2017 and went live in September. The last weekly payout was $1.7 million. The weekly payout yesterday was over $6.8 million. And the payouts were done and streamlined. We were even bragging about the fact that we were helping Stephen get this administration sorted. We were really proud of ourselves, and the team was proud of us. Some of these people that are throwing us under the bus now are the very same people that were paid last week Monday because we were helping Stephen to run the system. So I find it really contraindicative and also completely hypocritical that so many people are throwing these leaders that have helped them for so long under the bus, knowing full well that we have no control over the money and that Stephen controlled all the money right from the start, and the proof is very blatant and in your face. So I wanted to share this information with you guys and show you what we had in mind as a team when we got involved with Stephen. The lies about me being involved first and starting this company are sickening and unfounded. And I still challenge anybody to bring any proof of these allegations. There's been no proof. We're 100% happy to be as transparent as we possibly can. I've tried to answer every single phone call. I've tried to answer every single message, every single allegation. I've had people phoning me saying, you're the devil. And then I'll go, well, could I maybe just talk to you for a second and then try and speak them some sense into them? I don't know what else to do. So where we are at the moment is Stephen has at least 570 Bitcoin, at least, in that account that I'd shown you. He's got a payment of 6.8 million that is due for Monday, yesterday. We have given him a couple of options. We've told him that he could either, number one, pay investors their initial investments back. So whatever you haven't made, any loss that you might be incurring at the moment, pay that to everybody, which is $34 million, and close the system down. Or take a break. You know, a couple of weeks ago, he was saying he should have taken a break over December because he's really tired. And we were even saying, okay, right, let's plan a break and we can maybe plan it for over Easter, you know, and explain it to people properly. And I'm sure the team will be fine with that. But he hasn't gotten back to us on that. The second option was pay people their returns for yesterday with those 500 Bitcoins. That was the second option. The third option was to pay people out the full amount that they should be paid with their growth. And that was $100 million. And he hasn't responded to that either. So we have gone and gotten all the numbers ready for him and said, this is what you need to do. And this is, if you choose this option, this is who needs to be paid so much based on the information in back office. And we've really gone out of our way to try and communicate with this guy. So in closing, if there are any questions that anybody has, I have not been evasive. I've not been running away. But the one thing that I will not deal with is Vivian Budge and her ridiculous comments. She has created so many fake profiles. She's all over the Telegram groups, Facebook. And ask yourselves, if this woman is so 100% comfortable with what she's telling everybody about me and Clinton and Madeleine and Byron, then why is she hiding behind all these fake profiles? Why not come right out and grow a pair and be honest like I am? I'm standing out here. I'm like, I'm not using a fake profile. All of you know where I live. You know, even know what my children look like. Thank you very much to the people that posted that out. And I'm quite willing to go, hey, this is what was done. Every Bitcoin transaction is 100% public and visible. Go and have a look at the transactions. Track your Bitcoin. See where it went. And you'll see that it didn't come to any of the administration leaders. At the end of the day, there are some allegations flying around, and it really sucks that Vivian's biggest attack seems to coincide with Stephen not making the payment on Monday. And it has created a hellish situation for these leaders beyond anything that we could ever have imagined. So you have to decide how you want to carry on with this. I'm going to save this video. I'm 100% available. I haven't seen my kids in 2 days. Actually, I saw Hannah for athletics yesterday. Since then, I haven't seen them because I've been so busy answering queries, answering people's questions. I've taken every phone call. I mean, I'm trying my absolute best to do what is best here. And then on the other side, I'm fighting with Stephen and doing my best with Stephen for you guys to get payment and for us to get payment, even if it means that the people that are in huge profits don't get paid. I mean, we've told Stephen that. We've said to him, hey, why don't you just pay the people that came in early, pay later, pay the people that haven't been paid yet. And he's yet to come back to us. Without any indication from Stephen on what he wants to do going on forward, our hands are tied. We have no access to those Bitcoins. I mean, if we had, we would have taken them and tried to pay people, obviously. But we have zero access to any of Stephen's Bitcoin wallets. And he had set it up and intended it that way right from the beginning. And we accepted that. If there's anything that we are guilty of, looking back now, it was probably that we gave Stephen too much power. And in that situation, because he was so consistent and because there were never any issues, we became very, very comfortable. But the risk was always explained. Even at the last meeting that I did, I was very clear about the risk. And I explained to people that you need to explain to everybody else that there's a risk involved in this investment. So going on forward, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can carry on with this tirade against the leaders, and you can carry on defaming them, and you can carry on making our lives hell, and you can carry on making it impossible for us to try and organize anything with Stephen. Or you can say to us, we don't actually want to do anything with Stephen anymore, and we need to get the Hawks on him, and we need to get Interpol on him, and do whatever we need to do. In which case, we can do that. We can hand over all our information, and we can say, go find Stephen Twain. I can, however, guarantee you that as soon as that happens, he'll probably go underground, and we'll never find him again. That's what I'm thinking. The last option is for everybody to behave like decent human beings. Now, I realize that this is a very tall order for some of the people on this group, but maybe you could actually check allegations before making them. Maybe you can think twice before you post pictures about my house or my lifestyle or about Andrew or Byron or anything like that. Maybe you could check those things before, because you clearly don't know what you're talking about. And you can start behaving like decent people and give us an opportunity to speak to Stephen. Give him the benefit of the doubt. He hasn't let us down in a year. Maybe he just doesn't know how to handle the situation with the trade. So let's see what he brings up. Personally, that's what I would like to do. I'm available. If you want to take a pen and paper, you can write down my number. My number is 082-361-5911. I take as many calls as I possibly can. I try and answer as many messages as I possibly can. I don't mind sending screenshots. I don't mind sending copies of conversations. I will do whatever it takes for you to feel comfortable that we have not done anything sinister here, and that Stephen is 100% control of the money. I think we've provided a lot of proof tonight. You can take this link, you can go back and read it and see what's going on. You can watch this video again, you can share it with friends. It's up to you. But we're here, we're open, we're going, here we are. We haven't done anything wrong. We're not hiding behind fake profiles or SIM cards that were bought in our gardeners' names. I mean, I've never in my life even thought about doing that. So at the end of the day, this is what I have to say about the situation. To give you an up-to-date and current answer about what has happened with Stephen, maybe I can even show you guys a video of the conversations that I've had with him, so that you'll know that it's real. Let me just get my phone here. I'm going to try the broadcast in a second. Let me just get onto Messenger. All right, here it is. All right, I'll show you the video here. Still me being funny. This is the conversation. Stephen said that it's sending him lots. Oh dear. A couple numbers to make sure that they were correct. Our last question, Steve, was we need to do something. Stephen, that was, then you'll see there that I said I'm disappointed in him because it's just increasingly difficult for the leadership, and people are not just questioning him, they're questioning us, and it's really driven us nuts. And I came on again to him just here to show you. The worst part is that the team is willing to understand if you've had a bad trading time or BTC being down affecting you. But you're not even dignifying any of these people that trusted you with an explanation. Please, that Madeleine also says, at least let us know you are around. Speaking to Stephen, it's been the only way that we've been able to communicate with him successfully. It's the one group that he's been most active on, and like I said, we've provided him with millions of options and trying to get a hold of him. I've messaged him personally, so has Clinton, so has Madeleine. But at the end of the day, this comes down to Stephen. And Stephen needs to decide if he's going to let all these people down and face the consequences, or if he's going to man up and see his future through and make good on the promises that he's made to so many people. In closing, I just want to tell everybody that the payment button was the moment leadership team kind of a deal was wrong with Steve, was disabled on Monday at 9 o'clock. And I made the final call on that because I hadn't heard from Stephen all night on Sunday night. Single person that would have made a deposit into that account would have lost their money instantly if Stephen and something was amiss, we switched off the payment off with this. I'm excited about those investigations happening because I know that that's going to clear this administration team and prove to everybody that none of the funds were handled by this team and that none of the funds were handled by any of the administrators or the leaders. So I welcome the investigation. If anybody contacts me with regards to it, I'm going to be as open and honest as I've been up until now. I will be as transparent as I've been up until now, because I truly believe that my team and I have absolutely nothing to hide, and that the proof is there and it's staring and glaring you right in the face. So a couple of options on how we're going to deal with this situation, and at the end of the day, everybody's going to answer for their own. Any decision that I've made, firstly to invest with Stephen, and secondly to build this team with him, because regardless of what anybody might say, but if we don't get any feedback from him, and very, very soon, I'm afraid All right, guys, I'm sorry, the connection here is really bad. I wish you all the best. I really hope that all of this gets sorted out. Please, anything from Stephen, we will let you know on all the relevant platforms. We'll even post it to our Facebook pages, not a problem. As soon as we hear anything, we will let you all know. And I really do hope that this all gets resolved like yesterday. So thank you very much for tuning in today. Feel free to share this link with whoever you think needs a sober reminder of exactly what can be.